Well, welcome everybody. I'm Adam Michael Brewer, and you are watching this webinar, which is entitled 5 Keys to Meditate with Ease. And I thank you for being present and being open to hear some of this information that I'm going to share with you here. Wanted to let you know that which you're going to watch and listen to is actually a re-recording, because the original recording, we had some technical difficulties, some sound issues. So I decided to redo it. Having said that, there isn't that application of the live question and answer. So it's not going to be a part of what you hear or see today. Know, though, that if you have any questions at all on anything that I'm going to share with you today, I invite you to shoot me an email. And at the email that this link came from, which is adambrewer1970@gmail.com. And I will happily get back to you with responses that I hope can make you feel like you got the answer that you're looking for, or at least something close to it. Now, beyond that, you guys, again, we're going to try to, meaning me, going to try to make this as succinct as possible. I don't want to fill it with a lot of fluff. I want to get right to the heart of things for you. And I'm going to make this one an interactive webinar where I'm going to have you do some practices right along with me, especially toward the tail end of it, because that'll help not only, one, reinforce what we're talking about, but it'll lend itself toward one of my goals for you, which is ultimately to give you some practical things that you can use later today if you choose to, that will help you develop a home meditation practice as well as sustain one. And that's if you never ever listen to anything else I say today. Those ideas that I give you come from wise teachers that I have listened to, that I have now brought into my own practice, that I know will benefit you. So that's important to understand, that I'm going to have you hopefully participate with me as we go through this. Lastly, logistically, I just want you to know that you are going to get, in tandem with this recording, a PDF just going over that which I talk about, so that you'll have that there for you to reference and hopefully help you remember what the heck I was saying during this time. Now, real quick, my background. I started meditating in 2003. I spent about 2 years studying the techniques that at that time Deepak Chopra was teaching. I'd read a book called The Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire that he wrote. Loved it. Practiced those techniques very consistently for 2 years and found myself getting great results. But after the 2 years, something in me intuitively just said, okay, I'm looking for something new at this point. And so that led me to Self-Realization Fellowship in the Pacific Palisades, California. It was founded by a yogi named Paramahansa Yogananda. And I studied those techniques, his techniques of Kriya Yoga, for about 5 years, and loved that as well. And again, found profound benefits in my life. But after 5 years, just something again within me, a natural evolution of things, moved me in a new direction. And I found the Agape International Spiritual Center in Culver City at that time. And it was founded by Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, and utilized his meditation techniques for about 5 years as well. And then over the last 4 years or so, I guess, to culminate those 16 years that I've been doing this, I've kind of fused all of these ideas. I took the best of the techniques that I had learned from who I'm going to call these master teachers, and kind of brought it into something that really worked well for me and has worked well for many other folks as I've shared that with them. And I will share it with you today. Because one, I want to give credit where credit is due to these teachers of mine who I just bow down to. And then secondarily, let you know that hopefully this will happen for you as well, where as you begin your journey, you're going to start with one technique, and then over time it may evolve to something completely new. And that's a beautiful thing if it does. So anyway, that's a brief background of my meditation experience. And then I want to get to this simple point, which is, what brings each of us individually to meditation is completely unique. Some people come to it because they're completely stressed out, high anxiety, and they want to find some peace. Some are depressed and they want to find happiness. Some, they want to be more patient with their partner. Maybe it's that you want to be more present with your child or children. So the reason that we come to meditation or find our way to begin to want to practice is completely unique, and that's amazing. I will also say that what you may discover is that which brings you to meditation may not be what keeps you doing it. Personal example, what started me meditating in 2003 was that I had tons of stress in my life at that point and was just looking to find some peace. And through consistent practice, I found that. But it's not necessarily the primary driver for my continued practice presently. What it has become is that I've found myself being far more compassionate, far more empathetic, and I'm just going to say a feeling of connection with other human beings in life that I've ever felt at any point. And I believe attribute a lot of that to the meditation, and I want to continue to grow in those areas. And so that's what keeps me meditating daily. So just know that you're going to have a natural wave, if you will, of what's getting you meditating at any time to where it may be, what it may become. So having said that, it's all good. And let's get to the 5 keys to help you meditate with ease. Now, the first one, let me backtrack one sec. The primary intention, as I kind of said, for this webinar is to get you to a point where we move beyond guided meditation. Guided meditation is not a bad thing at all. And in fact, I do it every so often, and even had a program, I created a program that is guided meditations. It's a wonderful way to get into meditation where someone else is kind of steering the ship for you, which can be amazing, no doubt about it. And so it's a good thing. But there's something very empowering about being able to sit on your own and through your own conscious attention to your breathing and awareness of what's going on around you, find a way to relax the body and calm the mind, and realize that ultimately is what life is all about, is us being able to deal with the stimulus come in and on our own, real time, be able to deal with those kind of things. So there's a beauty to doing a self-led meditation and a very deep experience that can be had if you get there. And I know you can get there, and it's not nearly as difficult as what most people think. The primary thing people say is, I can't quiet my mind. It's just not for me. I'm here to tell you, I'm going to give you some techniques that'll help you do that and let you know that, one, you're not alone if that's the case. It's the story for all of us. But you just haven't had the techniques to do it. So now, jump it forward. The first key to learn to meditate with ease is this: do one thing well. And what do I mean by that? There are a gazillion different meditation techniques out there, and they're all good. And they work if you work them consistently. But what I highly recommend you do is pick one, and maybe it's what I'll present to you at the end today, and stick with it for at least 90 days. And what I'm going to present to you today is also a way to do that progressively. So you don't think, oh my God, 90 days, it's unmanageable for me because I can't sit for 5 minutes, let alone 20 minutes. I'll show you how you can progressively do that. But it's stick to one style and give it a chance to work. You want to become not a jack of all trades, but a master of one. There's a lost art there. People in this soundbite society are jumping all over the place. And they're doing that also with meditation. They're doing this technique or that style or utilizing this teacher and that. And that's okay. But here's the issue with that. Ultimately, it creates what I'm going to call meditation indigestion. It's like we don't even know where to begin anymore. It's like overwhelm. And so when you do this, you dial it in, I heard it said once, to know the essence of one thing is to ultimately really discover the heart of all things. If I didn't say it, to know the essence of one thing is to know the heart of all things, or the essence of all things. We can go really deep when we do that. I'm going to use exercise as an example because I also help people in that regard. Let's say you haven't been doing exercise in a long time and you're trying to get back into it. And I give you a formula to utilize, and you stay with it for a little period of time, and you've done it now for a month. You're going to feel better than you did when you started at the end of that month, but you're not going to feel nearly as good as you will 3 months from now if you consistently do it. Meditation is the same thing. Where exercise, we're training the muscles, right, of the physical body. Here, we're training the mind essentially to be our best friend rather than our worst enemy when it comes to meditation. And so it too needs time to develop the muscle necessary to feel competent and to feel confident. Because in the beginning, we're all in that space where it's like tough and turbulent and challenging. But if we stay with it, we'll start to get it. It becomes more natural, or it becomes more of a flow the longer we sustain anything. So do one thing well, and then try to stay with it for at least 90 days before you decide it either works or it doesn't work. I'm betting if you stay with one thing and you do it consistently, and I'm going to say every day over the course of that period of time, you'll be like, I am finding some benefits from this. You will probably say, I'm going to keep going. But if at the end of those 90 days, it doesn't have that feeling, then move on, find something else. But I would say, find another style of meditation, because meditation works. You just got to find the one that works for you. Okay, so that's number one. Do one thing and one thing well. And by the way, that which I'm going to teach you is what's referred to as a mantra style of meditation, and one of many, as I mentioned. And so I'll get to that a little bit later. Second one, you have to use your breath if you want to free your mind. Now, here's the thing about life in general in our brain. We're in a society right now where there's tons of external stimulus and lots of stress in our lives. And for the most part, when we're in this human doing state, we are often in what's referred to as our sympathetic nervous system. It's the fight or flight mode, where our breathing, our respiration is pretty rapid for the most part. And in fact, most people, the average person's respiration rate is about 12 to 18 breaths a minute in this agitated human doing state. And a breath is an inhale and an exhale. So working hand in hand with that quickened respiration rate, right, and that agitated, stimulated state where we're very in a to-do state of experience, the brain operates in what's called the beta wave. And this beta wave is exactly what I said. It's a get it done type thing. And it's often, not always, associated with a little bit of stress, a little bit of anxiety. It's pretty high strung, right, in general. So this beta wave is not where we find a lot of clarity and a lot of calm and a lot of peace. Now, I say that because when you sit to meditate, if I give you no technique and we just say, okay, I want you to sit, and somebody just says, hey, you need to meditate for 20 minutes a day to get these incredible results, and you have no technique and you sit to meditate and you try to close your eyes and be still, forget about it. You're going to be in this beta wave brain activity. Your respiration is still going to be quick, and you're going to have a really hard time quieting the chatter of the mind, the monkey mind. So there are breathing techniques you can utilize, and I'm going to share with you one in particular today that's really simple, which ultimately will calm the mind. It'll calm the mind. It'll slow, and we'll do that because we'll slow our respiration, so the amount of breaths per minute will decrease, which ultimately will bring down the level of brainwave activity into the alpha state. And this alpha state is more in alignment with what's called the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest digest mode, where real healing takes place and clarity of thought occurs, where we become more responsive rather than reactive to life. So again, and we get there relatively easily through some simple breathing exercises. And there are tons of breathing exercises as well. Some are excitation breathing patterns where it's to stimulate energy in the body, and some are relaxation techniques. And those that we will use prior to trying to really drop into meditation are going to be relaxation meditation or breathing techniques. So we can move our body and our mind from the beta active brainwave to a little slower activity brainwave referred to as the alpha state. And so we move from, again, reminding you, from the sympathetic fight or flight to the parasympathetic, which is rest and digest, clarity and calmness. So use your breath to free your mind. That's number 2. Number 3, I'm looking at my notes here. Find a comfortable seated position, because we're going to be developing what's called a seated meditation practice. And often when people think of meditation, they have a picture in their mind of somebody sitting cross-legged with, a mudra with their fingers. It's just known as a hand position. And that's what they try to do. And in the West, often, self-included, we have very tight hips. And if I sit on the ground and I try to sit cross-legged, within a matter of like 3 to 5 minutes, my hips are screaming to me. And all I can focus on is the discomfort there. And I don't even get to the techniques that I'm describing to you. So paramount to you developing a meditation practice that will go get you consistently meditating for 20 minutes or more pretty darn easily, you got to find a comfortable position initially, because if you don't, you're going to totally dislike the experience. So that's essential. And there are tools you can utilize. One piece of equipment is a chair, right? You don't have to sit on the ground. You don't have to sit in what's referred to as lotus position. You can ultimately sit in a chair. You could sit on what's referred to as a meditation cushion. You can sit on, they've developed what are called meditation benches where you're able to kneel. The cool thing about most of these things, whether it's a chair, a couch, a meditation cushion, or a meditation bench, is it's something typically that it's going to allow you to sit in such a way that your hips are slightly above your knees. This will allow your spine to be more upright in more of a neutral alignment, so that you can ultimately be in a position which is referred to as being at attention without tension. So it's not super stressful to get in this position because you set it up to win, so to speak. You've got your hips slightly higher than your knees. And in the course that I'm going to share with you at the end, I'm going to go over this stuff a lot more thoroughly about how you can do these things to make this stuff very doable. So being comfortable is our third key to meditate with ease when you're learning the seated meditation practice. Now, the fourth one is to utilize a two-phase approach to meditation. The first phase of meditation is what we refer to as getting there. And this is where we are utilizing these techniques, which I've already mentioned, to get you to a point where the second phase of meditation occurs, which is the being there, where you actually let go of all techniques and you just let yourself be still, become what's referred to as a silent witness. Now, I want to give you today 4 stages of the first phase of this two-phase approach. So 4 techniques, if you will, or checkpoints that you want to utilize. Number 1, within this getting there phase, is to do a quick check-in with yourself. And as soon as you find your comfortable seat and you've gently closed your eyes, you want to do a quick check-in. And this is as brief as just becoming aware of your natural breathing pattern, not trying to control it, just noticing, is it shallow? Is it deep? Is it going through your nose? Is it all through the mouth? Just becoming aware of your breathing. And then attended to that is also then becoming aware of what's happening with your heart. Just notice your heartbeat. Is it rapid? Is it relaxed? So you just are coming into the present moment with that check-in. Second thing we're going to do is go back to that idea of free your mind. and the rest will follow, if you will, to take a line from Sting's song or the Police's song. We're going to do a breathing technique that is going to calm the mind chatter. And again, some people will start with relaxing the body. Personally, I like to begin with the mind because of this idea that if you free the mind, the rest will follow. We breathe in a pattern that will slow the respiration down, slow our heart rate down. The mind is going to follow. We're going to shift from beta to alpha, you guys. So, in fact, let's stop right here for a moment. This is the first place we're going to get interactive. I want to do these first two parts of this 4-part getting there phase. So I'm going to invite you wherever you are seated, to sit in a position where you feel comfortable. And if you're in a chair, you want to just firmly root your feet onto the earth and get your feet about hip width apart. If you're, on a meditation cushion and you're seated cross-legged, just try to find something that allows you to find some comfort for yourself. And once you've done that, I'm going to invite you to just turn your palms up, place them on your thighs and turn your palms up. The reason we do that is it's a gesture of receptivity. So we start there. And once we've found a comfortable seated position, and chin parallel to the earth and crown of the head reaching up, we want to gently close our eyes. And as we do this, as I mentioned, I want you to just check in for a moment and just become aware of your body breathing. Notice where it is. Is it in your chest? Are you taking breaths into your belly? Is it shallow? Is it deep? Just notice your breathing. Don't control it. Just let it be. And then just pay attention to your beating heart. Is it rapid? Is it relaxed? But also become aware that this heart is what animates our existence. It's what a gift it is. So I immediately anchor myself in gratitude. Now, part 2, as I mentioned, is to begin now to consciously breathe in a way that we calm the mind. And when we do this, on the inhales, I'm going to invite you to inhale through your nose. There will be a brief hold. And then when you exhale, you're going to exhale out your mouth like you're exhaling out a straw or blowing out a straw, but not forcefully. Everything is very relaxed. So when you inhale, you'll do it to a count of 4 through the nose. You'll hold the top for a count of 2. And then you'll exhale, blowing out a straw calmly to a count of 6. And just do this for a cycle, maybe like 3 or 4 cycles of breath. Inhale through the nose on a 4 count, holding at the top for a 2 count, and then exhaling out the mouth through a straw. On a 6 count. Very good. Just gently open your eyes. And I'm betting you already feel a little more relaxed or calm. But this 4-2-6 breathing pattern, which I learned many years ago from Deepak Chopra, is a wonderful tool you can utilize to calm the mind. So That's part 2 of this getting there phase. Now, part 3 is to relax the body. So we've begun with the mind. We relax the mind so the heart rate is slower, the respiration is more relaxed. Hopefully the brain now is less filled with chatter. And now we just relax the body. We make sure that that is also available to being calm. And this would also be done with your eyes closed. Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, because you know what? Some people meditate with their eyes gently open and fixed on a singular point in space. But that's another day. But with the eyes closed, you do what's referred to as a body scan. And so regardless of your seated position, it begins from the ground up. And you just go through from body part to body part, checking in with where tension might be. And you try to release it consciously until you ultimately work your way all the way up to the top of the head, the crown of the head and the brow. And the body, hopefully at that point, will be completely relaxed. And then this moves us into the 4th technique aspect of the getting there phase, which is to concentrate the mind. So we want to bring a singularity of focus to the experience. Often this is a focus on the breath in many different styles of meditation. But for our purposes, this is where we're not trying to consciously control the breath. We actually let go of the conscious control. We just become aware of it. And with every inhale, we say a specific word internally. And with every natural exhale, we say a word. And that's referred to as a mantra. And with the technique I'm teaching you today, again, it's all internal. So there's no external voice to this experience. And again, what we're doing through this is taking that mind, which wants to go all over the place, and bringing it laser-like to one thing. And when you begin, the mantra that I'm going to give you, or the repeating vibration that occurs, is a really simple one. And it's with every inhale, you're going to say the word in, and with every exhale, you'll say the word out. And you just keep repeating this for a period of probably like 4 to 5 minutes or so. And then once you've done that, you're going to let go of all the techniques you've just utilized. It's a break. And you move into the 2nd phase of the meditation, which is the being there phase, where you become the silent witness. You allow yourself, to the degree that you can, to be judgment-free of whatever takes place. And you open yourself to allowing anything and all things to be present. It's a pretty cool spot to be. But you'll get there more rapidly and calmly through those other techniques. So I'm going to backtrack again. We practice the first 2 parts of the getting there, and I want to practice this number 3 and number 4. And reminding ourselves that number 3 is the body scan and number 4 is the concentrating the mind. So once again, I'm going to invite you to just sit up nice and tall, wherever you are. Find a comfortable position where you're at attention without tension, and gently close your eyes. And as we practice this 3rd technique, it's the body scan, begin from the ground up. You just notice your feet. Try to consciously feel them relax. Your ankles, your shins, and your calves, the knees, the thighs, the front and the back of the thigh. Try to let go of any tension that might be there. Become aware of your hips. Try to let go. Notice your bottom, your lower abdominals. Let go. Your low back, your belly, your chest, your mid and upper back, your shoulders. Relax your shoulders. And bring your attention to your fingers. Let them be relaxed. your hands, your forearms, elbows, upper arms. And as we return to the shoulders, notice your neck. Relax the neck, front and back. Let go of any clenching in your jaw. So you might just separate your teeth a little bit behind your gently closed lips. Try to release any squinting that you might be doing. Unfurl your brow. Just try to let it relax. And you can just try to feel your skull. Allow it to just be. And just pause and breathe here. Natural breath. From here now, just bring your attention to your natural breathing. And the lips are gently closed. Notice the inhale and the exhale. And with every inhale, silently, internally, you say the word in. And every time you feel the urge to exhale, the word you say to yourself is out. Continue to come back to observing your natural breath. With every inhale, the word in. With every exhale, the word out. Beautiful. I invite you to gently open your eyes again. And again, I'm betting you're feeling more relaxed, a little more calm right now. Following that, you just let go of all techniques. And ideally that you stretch that out. So even though those things that we just went through, those 4 techniques can feel like they take a fair amount of time, at the end of the day, as you get more confident and competent in that order, in that routine, in that formula, you can spend a fair amount of time there or a very little amount of time. But what ends up happening is you end up lengthening and spacing out the being there phase where you become the silent witness. And you just let things be. And you move from being a human doing in the first phase to being a human being. And that's a pretty awesome space to be. Point 5, the 5th key is to be consistent, my friends. It's essential. You will get results if you stick with it. They've done studies on the brain, and the first 14 days are essential to be consistent with. And what I mean by that is do it every single day. Because what happens prior to that is the brain actually acts as an observer. You already have a number of neurons in your brain and neural connections, which are present. It's just that's what occurs in our lifetime. And that's continuing to go on when you begin any practice, meditation or athletics or music or sports. Excuse me. But then the brain, as you take up something new, observes. Basically, for the first 14 days, it's saying behind the scenes, is this person serious about what they're doing? Are they committing to it? Are they consistent? Are they doing this with earnestness? Even when they don't feel like doing it, are they doing it? And then if you do it for 14 days straight, you'll feel the support of the brain. And what happens is it actually starts, neural connections occur between the neurons that are already there. So they come together to join forces to support. New neurons have been created to aid in this. And I'm going to use the word, it'll feel a little easier than it did on day one. And oftentimes just this little bit of assistance can guide you through the next phase. And I'll say often that a habit will begin after about 21 to 28 days. And if you can make it that first month of doing this, you will feel markedly better than you did on day one. Enough typically that you'll want to keep going. And you can, if you get to that 90-day mark, you are going to feel so much better and be so much closer to getting the result that you hope to get from meditation than when you first began. I almost guarantee that. It's in fact, I do. If you do it consistently and you stay with these techniques that I have described to you, they are time tested and they're profound. They're profound. So again, even if you listen to nothing else I ever share out there, I hope you can find some benefit in that which we have just covered, because these things have certainly helped me get to a point where, I love meditation. In fact, I get up at 3:45 in the morning, 3:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so that I'm able to get 20 minutes of breath work in, 20 minutes of meditation prior to the demands of life kicking in. And it's a time when my love Liz is sleeping and my son Sky, and they can be in that beautiful place of sleep, and I can be in that space that I know will enhance our lives together. So you do this, and I'm telling you, you will very soon thereafter, 90 days, be able to, and maybe even well before that, be able to sit in meditation for 20 minutes comfortably and beyond. And that's ultimately where the real magic happens, when you can get to that point. Now, having said that, I have put together a 4-week course, which is going to dive far more deeply into each of these aspects of developing your own seated meditation practice. And it's going to be a format that's exactly like this. It's going to be a live webinar with question and answer possibilities. And even if you can't be in the live recording, you'll get the recording and you can listen in. And it's going to be something where we will progressively, slowly but surely, just like most things, if not all things in life are progressive in life, right? You come out of the womb and you're sure as heck not crawling, but you begin with a little bit of movement, then you start to crawl, then you start to slowly walk, and then there's a little bit of a jog, then there's a run. Mathematics, right? It's addition, then you learn subtraction, then you learn multiplication, then you learn division. But you don't ask somebody to start with division. Meditation is no different. There are really simple, stepwise ways that you can apply all these things that I've just shared with you, so that when you get to the end and you put it all together, you're doing division and beyond. And so this course is going to help you do that. I would love for you to join me on that journey. It's going to be beginning in 2 weeks. I believe it's the 27th. And you, as a registrant for this webinar, are going to get a greatly reduced price for that deal. And it's my honor to present that to you, just for even taking the time to listen. I hope that this has been beneficial to you. And I love sharing. And if you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. I'm open. I try to keep a student mentality to everything. And what I mean by that is the beginner's mind. I'm forever learning and evolving, and I would encourage you to do the same thing. Is meditation a quick fix, a magic bullet? No. Is it something profound that can change your life? Yes. But it takes work, like everything else. But hopefully that work can become something that's enjoyable. The old saying is like, discipline ultimately will create freedom. And maybe at some point, if you stay with it long enough, that discipline, as my teacher Michael Bernard Beckwith said, becomes blisscipline, where you just go, man, it's incredible what comes from that discipline. And the ability to choose in life. You develop choiceability, you develop awareness, and you really become a human being for the first time. Anyway, I'm rambling. I know you're a busy person. Thank you, you guys. Questions, send them my way. Adam Brewer, 1970, the year I was born, at gmail.com. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else I wanted to cover today? God, there's so much I want to share, but I know we have a limited period of time to do this stuff. Man, thank you again. Get out there into your day, you guys. Be good to yourselves, be good to life and others in it. It's been my honor and privilege to be with you. Thank you. And I'll be sending you the information about that course. If you're interested or if you have any questions about it, let me know. But it'll be starting up, I believe it's Thursday, the 27th of July, 4-week course. And it's going to be all about how you meditate with ease. And maybe it's going to be called doable meditation, because it is doable for everybody, having your own self-led meditation practice. I hope you join me. Talk to you soon.